Have you ever seen that list of coincidences between the assassinations of Lincoln and Kennedy? Well, this week, let's find out if the internet says it's true. Welcome back to The Internet Says It's True, where every week we learn something that sounds like I just made it up, but it's really true. This is part of the WCBE podcast experience, and my name is Michael Kent. Welcome back. This is episode 254. Later in the show, we'll be having Las Vegas headlining magician Matt Franco joining us, so stick around for that. And in other very exciting news, today is the launch date for my new book. The books are shipping. In fact, if you pre-ordered one, there's a good chance you already have it. I've been getting lots of photos of people with their books. If you do, now you have another very important job to do. Leave a review. Please leave a review of the book on Amazon. I'm hoping to have a review from every single person who bought a book. Those reviews, just like here on the podcast, really help out a ton. So if you haven't ordered your book yet, they are available wherever you buy books online. I did put a link in the show notes if you want to buy it. If you're a Patreon supporter, a Tizitor if you will, and you join at the gold level, you'll get an autographed copy mailed to you just for signing up. That's patreon.com/Michael Kent. So you can join at $10 a month level and then get a free book, which retails for $17.99. It's patreon.com/Michael Kent. But you can join at any level. You can join at the $1 level or the $5 level. It's like a cup of coffee. So it really helps out the show. Let's talk about this week's episode. It's a little different than the normal episode because it's about the stuff the internet says is true but isn't really true. It's sort of a debunking episode, and it's all about this supposed crazy coincidences between the assassinations of Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy. When I was a kid, someone told me the weirdest coincidence I had ever heard, that Mark Twain was born in 1835, the same year that Halley's Comet appeared, and then he died in 1910, the next time the comet appeared. And that's true. Twain himself even joked about it, saying in 1909, quote, "I came in with Halley's Comet in 1835, it's coming again next year, and I expect to go out with it," end quote. And sure enough, he died the very day after the comet's closest approach to Earth. That's the kind of eerie coincidence that sticks in your brain, and I remember it because Halley's Comet came around when I was in kindergarten, and we had a little yearbook for my school, and they put Halley's Comet on the front of it. That's how important it was to people at the time. Or take the case of two men named James Brady. In 1957, a man named James A. Brady was killed in a car accident in Ontario. 20 years later, in 1977, another man, also named James A. Brady, middle initial and all, was killed in the exact same intersection in the same type of car. Coincidences like that are rare, but they make you wonder if there's some hidden force at play. I personally don't believe that's the case. I think coincidences are just coincidences, but that's my belief, and you're not here to hear my beliefs. You're here to hear what the internet says is true. And another coincidence, a lot of people have heard this one. It's about the Titanic. In 1898, author Morgan Robertson wrote a novella called Futility about a massive luxury ship called the Titan that hits an iceberg and sinks. This was 1898. 14 years later, in 1912, the Titanic sank in almost exactly the same way. Robertson always insisted it was just an educated guess based on the trend of bigger and faster ships being built at the time. But when history rhymes in such a dramatic way, people remember. And that is what brings us to today's story. Perhaps the most famous coincidence list of them all, Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy. You've probably seen this list somewhere, maybe in a school textbook, or maybe as a chain email in the early 2000s, or even now as a viral meme on Facebook. The list usually contains a couple dozen bullet points comparing the two presidents, showing uncanny similarities between their lives, their political careers, and even their deaths. Some of the most famous ones you've probably heard. Both presidents were elected exactly 100 years apart. Both were succeeded by Democrats named Johnson. Both were assassinated on a Friday while sitting next to their wives. Lincoln had a secretary named Kennedy, and Kennedy had a secretary named Lincoln. The names Lincoln and Kennedy both have 7 letters. The assassins were both known by 3 names, John Wilkes Booth and Lee Harvey Oswald, and both names contain 15 letters. Booth shot Lincoln in a theater and ran to a warehouse. Oswald shot Kennedy from a warehouse and ran to a theater. The list goes on and on. Here are some more. Both presidents were elected to Congress in 1846 and 1946, and later to the presidency in 1860 and 1960. The assassins were both Southerners. Both Lincoln and Kennedy were particularly concerned with civil rights and made their views strongly known. Both presidents were shot in the head on a Friday in the presence of their wives. Both Oswald and Booth were killed before they could be put on trial. It's the kind of trivia that middle school teachers love to share because it grabs attention immediately. It makes history feel like a puzzle and there's some deeper connection just beneath the surface. And it's been circulating for a long time. The earliest known printed version of the Lincoln-Kennedy coincidence list appeared in 1964, just months after Kennedy's assassination, in the Greer City News in Pennsylvania. Over the next few years, newspapers across the country picked it up, and the list grew with new coincidences being added by readers. By the 1970s, the list had become a pop culture phenomenon. Comedian Dick Gregory even published a book in 1976, which is the title I can't say on here, but he discussed the Lincoln-Kennedy parallels as part of America's fascination with strange connections. But here's the thing. Not all of these coincidences hold up under scrutiny. Some are true but trivial, and some are misleading. Others are just flat out wrong. Let's start with one of the most famous. Lincoln had a secretary named Kennedy, and Kennedy had a secretary named Lincoln. This one, not true at all. There's no record of Lincoln ever employing a secretary named Kennedy. Kennedy, on the other hand, did have a secretary named Evelyn Lincoln. That part is true, but the mirrored coincidence is completely fabricated. Another often repeated claim. Booth shot Lincoln in a theater and ran to a warehouse. Oswald shot Kennedy from a warehouse and ran to a theater. This one has a kernel of truth, but it's oversimplified. John Wilkes Booth did shoot Lincoln in Ford's Theater, and he was later found hiding in a tobacco barn, not really a warehouse. Lee Harvey Oswald did fire from the Texas School Book Depository, which is essentially a warehouse, and then he ran to the Texas Theater where he was arrested. So there's a poetic symmetry. It isn't as neat as the meme makes it sound. Or how about the claim that both assassins were born 100 years exactly apart? Booth was born in 1838, Oswald was born in 1939, so that's 101 years. And the 100 years apart claim about Lincoln and Kennedy's elections, Lincoln was elected in 1860 and Kennedy was elected in 1960, so that one is accurate. Then there's the idea that both successors were named Johnson, and that's true. Andrew Johnson became president after Lincoln's death in 1865, and Lyndon B. Johnson took office after Kennedy's assassination in 1963. Andrew Johnson was born in 1808 and Lyndon Johnson in 1908, exactly 100 years apart, so that one checks out too. The point is, some of these connections are real, some are stretched, and some are invented. Over time, as the list got copied and recopied, even printed on commemorative plates to hang on your wall, errors started creeping in, and no one really bothered to fact-check them. The list was more about the vibe of the spooky coincidence than actual historical accuracy. And that's part of what makes this list fascinating. It shows how we as humans are wired to look for patterns. Psychologists call it apophenia, the tendency to perceive meaningful connections between unrelated things. It's the same instinct that makes us see faces in clouds or hear hidden messages when songs are played backward. The Lincoln-Kennedy coincidences are basically apophenia on a national scale. But it's not just random trivia. There's something about linking these two presidents in particular that made the list sticky. Both were young, charismatic leaders whose presidencies were cut short by assassination. Both came to symbolize, in different eras, a sense of hope for the country. So pairing them together, even artificially, created a story that was compelling enough to live on for decades. But if this list of coincidences is partly a myth, where did it really come from? Who started it? And why did it become such a phenomenon? We'll dig into the origins of the Lincoln-Kennedy coincidence craze after the break.
Hey, I'm Cliff Baumgardner.
And I'm Harrison Stewart.
If you're like us, you probably grew up watching the Discovery Channel classic, Mythbusters.
From rocket cars to chicken cannons, Mythbusters proved there's no question too big, too small, or too ridiculous to put to the test.
Now we're going back to rewatch the show from episode 1, and we want you to follow along. Join us as we revisit every single myth, moment, experiment, and explosion from throughout the show's legendary 14 seasons. Subscribe now so you don't miss one.
If you love listening to this podcast every week and you want to show your support, that would mean a great deal to me. You can do that by becoming a Patreon member. We've got members at all levels, whether you want to pledge $1 a month or $10 a month. Just think about the value that you receive from this show. And if you like the histories and the stories that you learn about or the jokes that you hear, and if you think that they're worth it, consider signing up. For that, you get every episode ad-free and a week early, access to bonuses like the unedited videos of the guest appearances, and 20% off all merchandise. You can sign up today at patreon.com/Michael Kent. That's patreon.com/Michael Kent. There was a time that humans used 100% organic products as healing balms and moisturizers for their skin. Well, I've partnered with an awesome company that wants to get back to those times. Fatco sells organic and responsibly made tallow-based skincare products. For centuries, humans used tallow in skin moisturizers and healing balms, but unfortunately, the topical application of these fats seemed to stop around the same time that animal fats stopped being considered part of a healthy diet. A lot of modern skincare products do more harm than good by stripping your skin of its natural oils. Let's change that. You can try them out now at fatco.com and get 15% off your order by using my promo code INTERNET. Go to theinternetsaysitstrue.com/deals for the link. What if your kid could open a box and step into another century? With History Unboxed, they can. Each month, a new time-traveling adventure arrives at your doorstep, packed with hands-on projects, stories, recipes, and learning has never been more fun. No screens, no boring textbooks, just immersive, age-appropriate fun that makes history stick. Whether they're mummifying an apple like an Egyptian, or crafting medieval armor, or exploring the music of the Harlem Renaissance, they're not just learning about history, they're living it. Used by families, homeschoolers, and educators across the country, History Unboxed makes the past come alive with every box. I think it's amazing that I'm personally in my 40s and I'm still learning history every week. I wasn't interested in history as a kid, and I think that's because I didn't have something that made it fun. Things have changed since then. History Unboxed makes learning history engaging, fun, and hands-on in the comfort of your own home. So if your child loves to ask why and what was it like, this is the perfect way to fuel that curiosity. Ready to time travel? Sign up today by clicking the deals link in the show notes. When we left off, we were talking about how the Lincoln-Kennedy coincidences became a viral list long before the internet. The truth is, the idea had been floating around in smaller forms before Kennedy's assassination. Historian Barbara Garson noted that in the late 1950s, some newspapers ran side-by-side comparisons of Lincoln and Franklin D. Roosevelt, looking for historical echoes. After Kennedy's death, it was natural for people to make the same comparisons with Lincoln. The earliest long-form version we know of was published in 1964, just a year after Kennedy's assassination. It was in a Pennsylvania newspaper, and that article listed 15 coincidences. Over years, the list expanded as readers and amateur historians added new items. By the 1970s, the list was in classroom textbooks and trivia books. Ripley's Believe It or Not even featured it. In 1975, historian Arthur M. Schlesinger Jr. was asked about the list in an interview. His response was blunt, quote, "Most of these so-called coincidences are simply not true," end quote. But by then, the list had taken on a life of its own. Even when scholars debunked it, the legend continued. The most interesting thing, in my opinion, is not which items are true or false, but why we care. Lincoln and Kennedy are two of the most mythologized presidents in American history. Lincoln as the savior of the Union and the great emancipator, Kennedy as the embodiment of Camelot and youthful idealism. Both men's deaths were shocking national traumas, so connecting them feels like connecting two halves of the same tragic story. This wasn't the only time history has been paired in this way. Another famous coincidence involves the sinking of the Titanic, which I mentioned earlier, with futility, or the eerie case of Hugh Williams, supposedly on 3 separate occasions, 1664, 1785, and 1860, ships sank in the Menai Strait off the coast of Wales, and in each disaster, the sole survivor was a guy named Hugh Williams. That story has been told and retold, though historians debate how much of it is legend. Another example, in 1901, a man named Wilmer McLean owned a farmhouse in Manassas, Virginia, where the first major battle of the Civil War broke out. 4 years later, tired of the war, he moved to Appomattox Courthouse to get away from the fighting, and in 1865, General Lee surrendered to General Grant, in Wilmer McLean's parlor, literally bringing the war full circle. McLean supposedly said, quote, "The war began in my front yard and ended in my front parlor." These stories endure not because they reveal a secret force in the universe, but because they're satisfying. They're satisfying narratives, and we like symmetry. We like beginnings and endings that tie together neatly with a bow. And when we find those patterns in real life, we can't help but share them. In the case of Lincoln and Kennedy, the coincidences tell us more about human psychology than about history. They show how easily myths can spread when they resonate emotionally. They also show how much people want to make sense of senseless tragedies. Both assassinations were deeply traumatic national events. In both cases, conspiracy theories flourished. And the coincidence list gave people a way to process the unthinkable, to say, see, there's a reason this feels so familiar. History repeats itself. But as historian James Loewen once said, coincidences don't tell us anything. They don't explain anything. They just exist. The Lincoln-Kennedy list is a perfect example. Yes, some items are striking. Yes, it's fun trivia. But it doesn't mean there's a grand cosmic design. Still, it's worth noting that the list itself has become a kind of historical artifact. It tells us something about the 60s and the 70s and how Americans were searching for meaning in the aftermath of Kennedy's death. And it continues to circulate today in memes and viral posts because the human brain hasn't changed. We still love to marvel at the weird ways history can echo, and we still experience apophenia. So the next time you see someone post the Lincoln-Kennedy coincidences, you'll know which ones are true, which ones are fake, and why the whole thing caught on in the first place. It's less about fate and more about folklore, and that is what makes it a great story for this show. The internet says it's true. It's time for the part of the podcast we call the Yap Yap, and this is where I call a friend. Today, I'm calling Las Vegas headliner Mat Franco. Matt is celebrating 10 years at the Link, where he performs his show in the Mat Franco Theater. He's been named Magician of the Year by the Academy of Magical Arts at the Magic Castle in Hollywood. He was the first magician to win America's Got Talent, and I know Matt from when we used to perform in colleges at the same time. What's going on, man? It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you. I noticed in your email, what do you call that at the end of the email?
The signature.
Signature, it said Magician of the Year from APCA.
Yeah, Magician of the Year from, the Association for the Promotion
So
of
different
Campus.
Organization,
Yeah.
Same award, we're basically the same person. This is unbelievable. I love
feel
it.
like the one from yours carries a little bit more weight.
Well, no, it's different, right? APCA's
different.
more general audience. Magician is your peer, so they're both cool in different ways.
Yeah, and that same year, which was 2014, the year that you won America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
That same year, I won Entertainer of the Year by Campus Activities Magazine, and that is a publication that no longer exists. So I don't know how I feel about listing that one as much anymore. But,
I think it still sounds good. I saw that in the signature as well. I just didn't bring it up because it didn't go with my narrative that we're looking in a mirror. So
Yeah, absolutely. We're basically the same person. Yeah. If you need me to fill in for some of your shows, I can do that.
Man, I just may.
How many shows a week do you do there at the Link?
Six nights a week, 7 o'clock. And like you said, been running for 10 years, so we're approaching 3,000 shows very shortly. It's a lot of shows, man, but it's good.
That's amazing, man. Yeah, you're like 2,700 some shows total, right?
Yeah. Probably close to 2,800 at this point. You were out here in Came, I believe.
I didn't get to the show. We had
Did you not?
dinner.
I remember we got together.
Yeah, I think we had lunch or dinner or something, but I didn't have a free
It was
night.
when you did Fool Us, right?
Yeah, so it's been a while.
Gosh.
That was 9 years ago.
Was that pre-COVID?
Or 11 years ago. Pre-COVID, yeah. It was 2016.
Whoa.
So
Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
your show's probably changed. I mean, your show changes all the time. You're always changing it, but like it's probably changed dramatically since then.
Yeah, like Magic has had a reputation, as you know, like over time, like sometimes get the reputation of being dated, right?
Yeah.
So I always like feel the need to keep the most up-to-date technology, always revamping it. Like what we did in 2015 was amazing for the time.
Yeah.
But then when you look at it a few years later, you go, oh, we can upgrade this and this. So Yeah, even just as recently as a couple years ago, I gutted the entire room, got rid of every single light, every video screen, and revamped it for all
Wow.
fresh new stuff. So
So not
like it's
just the
really
show,
state of the art design. So yeah,
so the
you got to
theater
find an
tech.
excuse to come on out here just for fun.
I really do. I really do. It's been way too long since I've been out there. So before we get into the topic of the show, I always like
Sure.
to ask, do you have some sort of topic or weird factoid that you brought with you that maybe we don't know?
I did bring a factoid with me,
Okay.
and are you prepared for it?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Bananas
Okay.
are technically berries,
All
but
right.
strawberries are not.
Okay, I'm with you on bananas because wait, I would say it's a fruit, but fruits grow in the ground. So bananas.
I
hang from
believe berries
trees.
are also fruits, right?
Okay,
So
are
fruit
they?
is a wider umbrella, I think.
Okay, gotcha. So
Now, I'm no
banana,
expert on this.
So banana is a berry, but a
And a
strawberry
strawberry
is
is not.
not. Why is a
Yes.
strawberry not?
So botanically speaking, a berry has seeds inside and comes from a single flower's ovary. And
Okay.
bananas fit that bill, and strawberries don't. Now, if you want me to elaborate further, I cannot, because this is me using ChatGPT to find a fun fact.
I love it. I love it. You know what? I will tell you, I'm working on an episode, and I was just trying to do some research and use ChatGPT for it. This is for next week's episode. And once
Yeah.
it got done, I was like, this doesn't seem right. Like I was asking it for some bullet points on a particular person. It
Yeah.
made it all up.
I
Including
have
the person's name. It was
I have gotten
crazy.
some pretty inaccurate information from ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And so I cannot vouch for the validity of this.
That's well, I think I've heard something similar, and it makes sense. Like the seeds on a strawberry are on the outside, so maybe that's what it is, right? Because they're
Are
on
they?
I think so. That's the little
Where?
like when you look at a strawberry and it's got all the little dots.
Oh, I thought you said banana. Sorry, I was
No,
thinking
yeah,
banana. Got it.
yeah.
Got
And
it,
I
got
can't
it.
even tell you what a banana seed looks like. I mean,
Is it when you bite into it? Are they on the inside? Does
I
it have
guess.
seeds?
I
Or is
feel
it that little brown thing at the end that no one wants to eat?
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know. The butt of the banana?
Isn't
I
it
really
the
don't-
butt of the banana, right?
Yeah. I saw a video once of, and this is getting off topic, but first of all, I did not know that, so that's a correct answer. But I saw a video where the way that monkeys eat bananas is opposite of where the way that they peel the banana is usually different than the way we peel banana.
Let me
So-
ask you a question.
Yeah,
Okay, well, I don't want to step on the bit here, but do
No.
they pinch and peel from the
They-
bottom?
they pinch and peel from the bottom.
That's what I do. Yeah.
That's what I do too, but I didn't do it until I saw that monkeys do it, and I'm like, well, they clearly have more practice at this than we do. They have an evolutionary history of eating bananas, I assume. So yeah, so that's
Yeah.
what I do. I pinch the bottom instead of
Yeah.
pulling the stem, right? Like everyone pulls the stem.
Yes.
I pinch the bottom. It makes it super easy. And
Yeah, it's more efficient, I believe.
I think so. Probably. I mean, listen, if I'm trying to gain time in my day by how I eat a
Yeah.
banana, I've already screwed
Yeah.
up.
Or you're succeeding. Depends how you look at it, I guess, right?
I guess
you
so.
could be winning at life big time if that's all you have to think about.
I have the problem of convincing myself that I always need to be doing more and busier and everything like that, and I'm not
Don't
sure
we
that that's
all-
winning.
We all suffer from that, right? Thinking
Yeah.
we need to be doing more.
Exactly. This is why I wrote a
Mhm.
book, which comes out today, by the way. The book is officially live September 1st, today, Labor Day. The book is, and even though it is officially launched today, I've been getting texts from people who it's already in their mailboxes. They're getting it already. So
And how would you say it relates to this podcast? Because they
Um,
come from the same title, you know?
yeah, it is basically what I did was I took 59 stories from this show and wrote them out in a book form. So if you've
Gotcha.
listened to the podcast, you already know these stories, but it's fun to have, it's sort of a bathroom reader. They're all like, 3 or 4 page stories, and there's a QR code at the end of every story if you want to hear the actual episode and
Yes.
hear the interview with the guest and the quiz and all that. You can do that too. So
Yeah, have a
Yeah.
few bananas and then have a short bathroom read. It works out well.
exactly. Well, let's move on. Question 1, Matt, we're going to play for a joke. So if you get it wrong, you got to tell me a joke. If you get it right, I will tell you a joke.
Okay.
Here's your question. Which of these is a true coincidence between Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy? A, both were born on the same day of the year. B, both were elected exactly 100 years apart. C, both had assassins born in the same year. So it was whether they were born on the same day of the year, they were elected 100 years apart, or their assassins were born in the same year.
I can't imagine the assassins would be born in the same year.
Okay, so C is out.
I think so, because Abe Lincoln was so far previous to JFK. I mean, obviously, it's very possible they were born on the same day. That's not that crazy of a coincidence. I would imagine that it's very, I don't know. Is it A? What was the second option?
The second was both were elected exactly 100 years apart.
I'd say, like, if you're going to play the odds, that's very likely, because election day, like whenever someone gets sworn in theory, would be to the, is it, now the question is, were they exactly 100 years apart? And that I do not have the historical knowledge of knowing, because I don't know the years they were each president, but I know that Abe Lincoln was far previous. Was it 100 years though? How many presidents apart were they?
Well, I couldn't tell you. I mean, Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president. Kennedy was I don't know.
Oh, are you allowed to tell me that information?
No, well, I can look it up. I don't mind telling you that.
Okay. I didn't know if this question was supposed to be like a 30-second answer, because I just now have extended it to 3 minutes.
Kennedy was the 35th president.
So, like, if there's 4 years in between each, possibly 8, and they're already, oh God, now I'm doing math on the podcast. You don't want that. Then that'll extend it much further.
It's not
you know
that
what?
deep.
I'm going to say I'm going to say born same day.
Oh, you changed halfway through your sentence.
I did.
So A, born on the same day of the year?
Yeah, I'm going with that.
Matt, you had it. They were elected exactly 100 years apart. Lincoln was elected in 1860. Kennedy was elected in 1960.
So close. I owe you a joke.
And, have you seen the lists of, like, the crazy coincidences between Lincoln and Kennedy's assassinations?
I didn't even know that was a thing. No, I didn't know there were lists of those.
Oh, there's a whole list of them. I'll read you just briefly some of them. There's one that says, okay, so they were elected 100 years apart. That one's true. They were both succeeded by Democrats named Johnson. That's true.
Huh.
They were both assassinated on a Friday while sitting next to their wives. That's true. Here's one that's not true. It's always in the list. Lincoln had a secretary named Kennedy, and Kennedy had a secretary named Lincoln. That one's not true.
Gotcha.
Kennedy did have a secretary named Lincoln. Lincoln did not have a secretary named Kennedy. Lincoln and Kennedy both have 7 letters. The assassins, both known by 3 names. That's true. And both of those names contain 15 letters.
Wow.
Here's a fun one that's not, this one's a little dubious. Booth shot Lincoln in a theater and ran to a warehouse, right? Oswald shot Kennedy from a warehouse and ran to a theater.
Oh, okay.
So there's weird stuff. I've heard, like, there's some weird ones too that I didn't really include in the episode, where I've heard, like, Booth shot Lincoln in Ford's theater, and Lincoln and Kennedy was shot in a Ford or something like that. And I don't know. I don't think that's not on my list, or maybe he was shot in a Lincoln. Yeah, is it just a different thing? But anyway, most of these things turned out to be people finding connections where there are none.
Yes, which is what we do as humans.
It's what we do, especially after, like, crazy tragedies. People try to, like, say, oh, it's a conspiracy. Well, okay, so do you have a joke?
I have a joke.
Okay.
I have a question, though, first. How basic am I? In other words, how many people have you come on that have said, here's my fact from ChatGPT?
No, I mean, they probably all get them that way, but no one has told me that.
They just don't admit it. Got it.
But I will say, no one's come on with that fact before. And
I am full transparency.
I love it. I love it.
All right, you ready for this one?
Magician. Okay.
Yes, sir. Why did the Scarecrow win an award?
Why?
Because he was outstanding in his field.
That's horrible, and it's as bad as the one I had prepared, in case you got that question right. Mine was this one. It was, why was Abraham Lincoln never put in jail?
Why?
Because he was innocent.
I like that better.
Both dad jokes. You're a dad. You're allowed.
Yes, I am.
Question 2. For this question, we're going to play for an actual Lincoln cent.
Okay.
Big stakes.
Okay.
Which U.S. president was the first to appear on television while still in office? A, Franklin D. Roosevelt, B. Harry S. Truman, or C. Dwight D. Eisenhower?
I did a book report in third grade on Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Okay.
And from that, I remember nothing. I'm going to go with, without really understanding the decades of which presidents were when, this is not a strong area for me. I'm going Roosevelt.
The answer is Roosevelt. You are correct.
Yeah,
Good guess.
baby.
Good guess. Roosevelt was the first sitting president to appear on TV during the opening of the 1939 World's Fair. Bonus points if you can tell me where the 1939 World's Fair was.
Like which state?
That's good enough, yeah.
What's it called again?
The New York... Oh, shit, I just gave it away.
Got him!
Where was the New York World's Fair held?
That's a big win.
That counts.
You
All
walked
right.
right into that. What was it called again? Oh, easier than I thought.
You got me. What was it called? What state was it in? You could have said that too, and I would have fallen for
I didn't think that would work.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you got that one right, so I will be mailing you a Lincoln cent.
I mean, in all fairness, Lincoln is also on the $5 bill. Could we have at least played for a 5? I mean, I don't mean to retroactively.
I'll tell you what. When I come to Las Vegas, I'll buy you a cup of coffee.
Okay.
Yeah. And if it
on the strip, they'll cost at least $12. If
that's
they're
true.
5 normally, on the strip it'll be $12.
We have to go outside of town for that. Where do people that live in Las Vegas hang out? Like, if you're not going to the strip?
It is literally, so I never go to the strip except to work. Vegas is like a really awesome community because locals really take care of each other. It's such a locals town. So lots of amazing, awesome places to hang out. It's hard to give like a bite-sized answer because even after being here for 10 years, my wife and I discover new things that we love all the time. We're like, oh, this is here. How lucky are we to have this? And all different things.
All pretty much within Las Vegas, within the city?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. But it doesn't feel like Las Vegas when you're there because it's totally different than the stereotype of the strip.
That's the impression I have is like every time I've ever been to Las Vegas, I've just been on the strip because
let me show you around next time.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to see these, these hidden gems. So
yeah, so many. So
for question 3, we always play for the same prize, and that is an Internet Says It's True sticker. It's 3 inches, it's square, and it's sticky. And you can only get them by if you are on Patreon and you get them in the mail that way, and I just sent some with each book that I mailed to Patreon supporters, or B, if you steal them off of light posts that I've stuck them on, or random bathroom stalls I stick them onto. So, but you can win one from me. Which U.S. president survived an assassination attempt by a woman? This is something I had never heard of before. So one of the U.S. presidents actually survived an assassination attempt by a woman. You always think of assassins as men. I don't know why.
Sure.
So your options are A, Gerald Ford, B, Harry Truman, or C, Theodore Roosevelt.
I said Roosevelt last time, so I shan't go with that.
Did you say shallant?
I shan't. Yeah.
Is that
That's
a thing?
A contraction of shall not.
I've never once in my 46 years of life heard someone say shallant.
Really?
I think I've heard shan't.
Shan't. Yeah, shan't is fair too. I don't know if it's legitimate. It might be slang or Old English or something, but yeah. I enjoy a shallant here and there. Okay. But I shan't go with number 3, but Truman feels right.
Truman feels right. The answer, Gerald Ford, 1975. Two women.
Oh, wow.
Lynette Squeaky Fromm and Sarah Jane Moore attempted separate assassination attempts on Ford within a span of 17 days.
Wow. I knew nothing of that.
No, I've literally never heard
What's the time frame on Truman? I'm sorry, on Ford?
On Ford, well, I mean, clearly in the 70s. Let's see. Ford presidency. Ford presidency was 74 to 77.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know anything. And that's not even like that far back in history. That's interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff about Ford because he wasn't elected. He became president because of Nixon resigning. So
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So unfortunately, no sticker for you this time. Okay. But for this next question, for question 4, you can win a copy of my new book, The Internet Says It's True: Stories That Sound Made Up But Aren't. I will mail that to you. And for $5.01, I'll autograph it.
Fair.
Question 4. Which U.S. president was shot, but went on to give an 84-minute speech with the bullet still in his body? Was it
Wow.
A, Andrew Jackson, B, Ronald Reagan, or C, Theodore Roosevelt?
Reagan, Jackson, or Roosevelt?
Yeah.
Knowing Jackson is on the $20 bill and he looks like a badass, I'm going Jackson.
The answer, Theodore Roosevelt. Matt, this is another thing I didn't know. So this is no, like, these are all questions that I don't think many people know. In 1912, this was 1912, he was shot in the chest while he was campaigning, and the bullet was slowed by a folded speech in his pocket.
Is that true?
Yeah, and he insisted on delivering his remarks before going to the hospital. For 84 minutes he spoke.
That's insanity.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was even possible.
No. Yeah. You had now I don't know like caliber or anything like that, or how deadly it actually would have been, but
yeah, guns were different back then.
I think it's cool that the speech that he was giving was what actually saved his life. I mean, it was you always see like in the movies, like the flask in the pocket that stops the bullet and all that, but it was actually the speech. So it's so poetic.
I think that, and this might be you making a connection.
It could be me making a connection. Yeah, there are no coincidences. And that brings us to the very last question. Now, you've gone 1 for 4 on these, and it's not. Hey, these are hard questions, and this is not about right or wrong. It's just about having fun with our guest. And we're talking about coincidences. So if you get this one right, this question absolves you of any losses that you've had. So it's as if you went 5 for 5. But if you get it wrong, Matt, you'll never be back on the podcast again. It's banned.
Okay, is that true?
Yeah.
That's like a real rule that you actually...
Yeah. If you don't get number 5 right, never again will you be on the podcast. I've never had anyone miss number 5.
Okay,
ever.
Okay.
And part of that is because it's not a multiple choice. It's an open-ended question. It's an essay question. Okay, here's your question. When we look at coincidences, do we think we look for coincidences because they comfort us or because they entertain us?
I believe most people find like comfort and entertainment. Gosh, the answer is both. But I think it's fulfillment. It's fulfillment. But like I think people are yearning to find those coincidences.
They're looking for the meaning.
Yeah, I think we're looking for meaning. I mean, we shoot like cards out of a cannon every night, and people catch certain cards and keep them like as keepsakes. But I will find people like years later that will show me like the ones they saved in their wallet. They're the cards that fell in their lap, and it's their birthday, it's their anniversary date, it's something, and like they claim these are the cards that fell in their lap. I've had people say, they took those numbers and played them on roulette and won or whatever. Like the amount of stories I've gotten from people that have just received supposedly cards in the lap that like meant something so specific that couldn't be anything other than some sort of divine intervention is pretty wild. So like I feel like people are certainly looking for them, because it'd be pretty hard for me to take credit for any of that with any seriousness whatsoever.
Yeah, like if they came up to you after the show and they said that to you, what's your response? Because obviously you don't want to take that moment away from them, but at the same time, it's not quite right to say, I meant to do that. Like, I guess there are all kinds of statements that you can say that are maybe, like life is crazy.
I mean, essentially, and that sounds trite, but I think that's the honest answer is like, wow, that's really incredible. Because it kind of is.
Yeah. 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 I've had that type of thing happen to me. First of all, that's a correct answer. But
yes.
So you're welcome back, and it's as if you got all 5 right. I've had that happen to me where it's like, oh my God, look at that! Did you do that on purpose? And like, I honestly, I'm not going to say yes, but I also don't want to say no, because that shatters this thing that they've created that has a lot of meaning to it. And usually, it's something like you said, it's very personal to them, or else they wouldn't remember it. Sometimes it's as simple as, oh my God, that was the card that I chose earlier. Like, you know what I mean? Where it's like if the same card pops up later in the show.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I wonder, like, sometimes it is really so outlandish. I wonder, like, did these really fall in your lap, or did one of them fall on the ground near you and you picked that one up? Like, I do believe people like look for connections so much that like, and even in their mind, their honest retelling of the story, is it slightly flawed?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right?
And you know, that works to our advantage quite often too as magicians. Like, you know, if someone's retelling of what we did is often better than what we did, it's often, you know, more fantastic. And if that's what they took away, then who are we to say that no, that's not what happened? Actually, you told me your name when when you came on stage or whatever it was,
Right.
It's let them have this this amazing life, this amazing moment in their life. And
Yeah. I just leave it as a, hey, anything's possible.
I think what we're getting from this, listeners, is that Matt Franco is a damn honest magician.
I would say so. I try to, like I said, full transparency is good. I think it's good in life. I think it's good in business. I think it's, good in self-expression when you're someone doing anything on stage. I like it.
Absolutely. You working on anything new for the show?
Always. Yeah, always working on new stuff.
Anything you can tell us?
I can tell you I'm working on something that's not for the show, but it's for something everyone will be able to see actually this month. I can't go into detail at this exact moment on September 1st, but later this month I'm doing a super fun collaborative thing with a couple of other magicians that you would know. And I'm excited. And you know this, like, because as a solo act, I don't get to collaborate like all the time like musicians do. So it's super fun for me. And I'm like finding myself getting more and more fulfillment out of doing collaborative endeavors. So I have a kind of a really fun one coming up, which is a fun partnership with others. And it's cool.
Okay. Well, where can we see it? If we just follow you on social, we'll see it?
I'm sure it will end up on social. It will also have reached through an old school traditional medium called television that like sometimes people occasionally still watch when they're not streaming stuff.
I have one of those in storage somewhere.
I know no one really watches them. So, the social version, if you are following me at Matt Franco, Matt with one T like a doormat, I promise it'll end up there as well.
Absolutely. Check out Matt Franco. If you're in Las Vegas or you're about to go to Las Vegas, go to mattfranco.com. You can get tickets to Matt's show. It's Magic Reinvented Nightly, yes? Is that the name of the show?
That's our tagline.
I love it.
Yes, sir.
He's at the Matt Franco Theater at the Link. And if you can't find it and you're on the Strip, just look for giant pictures of Matt's face.
Well, be careful, right? Because it could be on a taxi, and that might be going to Pahrump, Nevada. Who knows?
That's right. Man, it's been a pleasure having you on. I really appreciate it, Matt.
It's great to see you, brother.
That is all for this week. Thank you so much to my friend Matt Franco for being my guest, and thanks to you for listening. Here's a kid named Lincoln Kennedy.
Thank you for listening to The Internet Says It's True. To listen to episodes ad-free and a week early, support us on Patreon. You can do that at patreon.com/Michael Kent. If you learned something just now that you didn't already know, go to the Apple Podcast app and leave us a review with 5 stars and a few words. That helps us a ton, because that's how the algorithm works. I don't know what an algorithm is, but just do it! See you next week for a brand new episode of The Internet Says It's True!
The Internet Says It's True would like to thank the Patreon subscribers whose monthly contributions help to make this show possible. Sean Brown, Joshua Endress, Dallas Ray, Bryce Swanson, Eugene Anderson, Jim and Joanne Martin, Mitch and Andrew Joseph Kemplin, and the show's official emperor, Kicktrack. The show is written and produced by me, Michael Kent. The theme song is by Finite Music Forge, and all audio clips in this episode are used for education and commentary and used under Fair Use Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107. You can listen to past episodes by searching for The Internet Says It's True wherever you get your podcasts, and you can see bonus content at patreon.com/Michael Kent.